Hey guys, Alisha Costanzo. Welcome to a new video. I am going to be outlining my new story, Tatiana's Diary, in this video, and I'm going through how I plan on my whiteboard before I make my final notes in my notebook that I keep with me during the process in my bullet journal. So hopefully this helps you guys out a little bit. I'm going to be using one of Harmon's plot embryos, so let's get into this. Alright, so I filled this out and I wanted to go through it real quick since I didn't talk through my process while I was writing because, well, it's really hard to do that for me. So I used the tragic embryo from Harmon's plot embryo type of brainstorming style. And so U is the, hold on, let me grab my book. This is my writing notebook. The tragic embryo. So U, character in zone of comfort, backstory, fatal flaw came from. So let's stick these two next to each other so we can see them together. So she is single, free, shop worker, young, living at home, past lives opening for Phoenix, and that's talking about references to the story I've already written in the father's point of view, Aderin. And then, of course, Ria's stories, which I'm on book 4 right now. So Tatiana is actually, that's a big giveaway, is connected to Ria via past lives. That's all I'm going to say about that. And this opens her up for the opportunity of, because she's special, taking on that extra soul. So that's what that refers to. And this will bring me up to my, I guess, inciting incident. This is going to be kind of diary style, so it's going to be weird. Anticipation. Want, need, motive, goal. Can't get in something that they can't get in the comfort zone, and they must root. We must root for them here. I don't think we're not going to root for her, but kind of, since it'll make sense in a little bit, but she kind of has to die, so We have to root for her to die, but still like her. It's weird. Essentially, her entire being, because she's this free spirit, is in searching for a connection of some kind, some type of adventure, and she feels locked up at home. A lot like Rhea feels in general for her life, both as a human and when she becomes a vampire. So it's a really nice connection to them both. She doesn't get it, though. I mean, she gets a little bit of it, but yeah, dreams. So cross into the unfamiliar. Search of goal, do something less than heroic for it, make the reader uneasy. I'm not sure if that's going to come into play or not, but this is just general outlining, so take what I can from it. So she's going to meet the father of her child. She's going to get pregnant. In his story, he comes and asks her to abort it, and of course she refuses, and it sets their whole dynamic in motion, and their whole stories and both of their deaths, pretty much solidifying it there. But because of this, because of all of the drama, she actually gets to connect with her parents, which she wasn't before. She was kind of that typical young person who wants to get out from underneath their parents rather than actually being connected to them. She didn't get to the age where she would be able to, so it kind of sparks it now. And she has to come to terms with the fact that she's going to have to give up what she's always wanted, which is a life of adventure, in order to have her daughter. Alright, then we have frustration, forced to defend goal from opposition, forces act upon, flaw, committing dark, unforgivable acts. So this is where James comes in. He is in Rhea's books. He's in a lot of stories second-handedly because he is one of the first vampires Fae ever created 6,000 years ago. So he is also the one that makes Rhea, and he has to decide if he can let the baby live or not, essentially. So that is where we're opposing dark forces, because Faye doesn't wants control, and if she doesn't have control, she kills. So that is what he is there for. She gets the news here about the fact that she's going to die. So here she's got to give it up for, having a child. But here she actually has to consider the fact that she is not going to even live to see her child grow up. So going to die giving birth, and she knows that instinctually, and go through the cycles of grief here. And I found that I always thought of 5, but there's been some added, like the shock, which makes a lot of sense, because before we can even deny, we're in this kind of blank state. And testing, I don't remember what testing meant, but it's kind of rather testing out a new reality between the absolute depression and the moment when you come out of it. It's that transition between depression and acceptance. So it made sense when I read it. And so I'm going to keep that there too. But that's what the rest of the story is going to be. Her cycles of grief, how she comes to terms with it, which is in Under Nightmare. Her plan unravels. Meet the goddess and see the truth of the situation. Realize flaw, but can't undo what they've done. And this is where she has to come to terms with the fact that she will die. She has to come to terms with the fact that she didn't really get to know her father, wished that she had more time with her father, which is Mother meeting the goddess. And she realizes in these 2 sections that she wants to create the diary for her daughter to get to know them both after they're both gone. So, and this is something she doesn't realize she has. Rhea doesn't realize that she has until the current book I'm working on, which is book 4, Inferno. She finally gets to get to know her mother, so it's a good time to write the diary, right? Anyways, my last section is destruction. So the price is too high, but they pay it anyways. The story ends with death of their dreams, can't escape consequences, return to the familiar. They don't return to the familiar. Again, they die. And so, from her perspective, we get to see Adrian die. We know that he dies in his story, but we can't, it's hard to write somebody in the process of death. But we actually get to see it from her point of view, and then we get to see the birth scene, which is where she dies as well. And then I had an idea for pictures to go in there, as you saw on my whiteboard, right? And I don't know if I can include those in the story since this will be in an anthology, but it's something I'm thinking of because she did collect a lot of pictures, which is evident in Adoran's story, which is, by the way, the Mark of the Phoenix. So I'm trying to think of a way to work those in too. I don't know. But those are my thoughts so far. When I'm gonna let this settle for a little while and come back and record again as I actually try putting this into plot format. So I'll be back to figure the rest of it out in a little bit, and I'll smash this all together, so I'll see you then. These two pictures are my rough whiteboard outline for what I'm about to do on paper, and it's not really a whole lot different from what's on the other side, only it's an order that I think's gonna work. It's pretty loose because I am still kind of a pantser when it comes to writing, but I like the loose outline that keeps me from going, alright, well, what happens next? So, when I did my math wrong, again, this is a running theme of mine because while I'm an English teacher and editor, I'm not a math teacher, as I often tell my students. But I've realized that the process of her going through this diary is going to be that she started it for herself initially, with just checkups and note and documenting the process for herself, but it turns into more of a memoir and a goodbye. And I think if I look at it like creative nonfiction, which is what my master's thesis was, that makes more sense to me. I mean, it's a fictional, creative nonfiction genre type of, yeah, I mean, that's how I'm going to attack it. So I feel like the rest of the notes are self-explanatory. I don't really have anything that I know in depth of what's going to happen. Like when I write connection to mom, I don't know what that is, but I'll figure it out when I get there because that's what painters do. But yeah, that's my process for outlining, pretty much. Let me know if this helps you out, how you outline. If you like it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.